Welcome back to our Solstice series. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Caitlin. So Beltane, May 1st, ancient Celtic fire festival, the day the Celts said, it's summer now, we're burning things. We're dancing. We're going to do a lot that, frankly, your pastor would probably not approve of.
There is genuinely a historical record of priests lamenting how many virgins were, quote, despoiled on this one night.
Yeah, which a lot to unpack there. But here's what I keep coming back to. It's not really about the fire, right? It's about what the fire kind of gives you permission to do.
Say more.
Like the whole ritual, the whole ritual is built around the idea that there's a moment when you cross a threshold, like winter's over, you walk through the fire. No, I said walk through the fire and immediately Buffy came into my head. Anyway, put that as
cue.
This will be a social media clip, and now you'll just see Buffy. And you walk through the fire, and on the other side, something is different. Something is allowed that maybe wasn't allowed before. And as someone who has spent a significant part of my life kind of performing a version of myself that was acceptable to other people, I kind of relate to that concept.
Because blooming isn't actually the hard part. It's the permission to bloom.
Yes. Yeah. This is Unpacking the Closet. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Jerry. And today we're asking what gets to bloom in your life right now. And more importantly, what's been waiting?
Yes. Excited. I love Beltane. So let's actually talk about what Beltane is. My favorite of the holidays, aside from Christmas or Yule. But yeah, I think a lot of people hear the word and either picture like a Ren fair, or maybe they just don't picture anything. They don't have any concept of what it is.
Or the Wicker Man movie.
Okay. I actually don't know what the Wicker Man movie is. Do you know the Wicker Man movie?
No, let's find out.
Yeah. I'm like, what is the Wicker Man movie? The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man.
Devout Christian police officer investigating a disappearance on a Scottish island only to become the central human sacrifice in Beltane fertility ritual.
Love it. Oh my God, I have got to watch that. That reminds me of, oh my God, what is the Brigadoon? Did you ever see Brigadoon?
No.
Another great classic. That one's a musical, and it's about also a disappearing little like Irish folklore town thing, and you can only find it every once in a while, and I think there's leprechauns. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Well, thankfully, we're not doing human sacrifice today.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, always the Wicker Man, which historians are pretty skeptical about most of that lore, for the record. But what we actually know is from the historical and anthropological record, Beltane is one of the 4 major Gaelic seasonal festivals. It happens on May 1st. It sits exactly halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. And in Celtic tradition, that midpoint is when summer officially begins.
I had to look up how to say this one word.
I could not tell you.
Lunasa. Okay. And the 4...
It looks exactly like that. How did you not know that?
It's like 50 million extra letters.
Yeah.
Lunasa.
That's Gaelic for you.
And so the 4 festivals together from what's called the Wheel of the Year. Imbolc in February, which we just did, the first stirring of spring. And then we have Beltane now in May, where summer arrives. Lunasa in August, which is the first harvest. And Samhain in November, which we know as Halloween, which is actually the Celtic New Year.
There you go. The year wasn't divided into 4 equal seasons the way that we kind of tend to think of things now. It was 2 halves. So it was dark and light, and Beltane is the exact threshold where you cross from one into the other.
Which is significant anthropologically because liminal moments, those thresholds that you're talking about, carry enormous ritual weight across cultures. In Celtic cosmology specifically, these crossings were when the boundary between the human world and the spirit world got really thin. It's the same logic with Samhain. Both are fire festivals, both are thresholds, both moments where the rules temporarily shift.
Yeah, and I think that's actually what makes Beltane so interesting from an identity lens, because when the rules shift, people reveal what they actually want and what they've been holding back. Oh my gosh, didn't I just say, literally before we started recording, I was like, I want to start my business. I am moving full steam ahead. See, I'm telling you, it always connects.
With the
It always
wheel
connects.
of the year.
There you go.
Which is actually a really good frame. The earliest written record we have of Beltane is from a 9th century Irish text, Cormac's Glossary, written by a bishop who was also somehow a king.
Yeah, I need that combination to be studied. Maybe we need to do our own episode about that because I'm interested.
It really does. But he describes druids lighting 2 great fires and driving cattle between them for purification before the summer pasture. The name itself, Beltane, is thought to come from Bel, possibly the deity of light, and Tane, the Gaelic word for fire. So, like bright fire.
And the ritual was kind of communal in a way that I find really striking. The night before May 1st, every household fire in the village was extinguished, every single one. And I think I really want my listeners to really picture that, because this was before we had electricity. So that was your only source of heat and light, right? Everything out. And then the druids would kindle 2 bonfires from 9 specific sacred woods. So you had oak, birch, hazel, rowan, which, side note, I love rowan as a name. If you like, people are named Rowan. I love it.
Have you seen The Witching Hour?
No. Okay, you're like the 5th person to bring up The Witching Hour to me in just the last 6 months.
It's so scary, but also so good.
Yeah.
So good. And the lead character is Rowan.
Yeah, of course.
And she's great.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to watch it.
Okay. Clara will be happy because I always say no to scary things, but
so
every once in a while
though.
I got to give her one. So.
Well, it's based on Anne Rice.
Okay. Yeah. Now they're barking. What's happening? But yeah, so Rowan and Hawthorne. And from these 2 fires, every home would then relight their hearth. I think that's so cute.
Well, that's also because everyone's domestic fire came from the same sacred source. That's not just spiritual, that's like social cohesion built into ritual form.
That's true. Exactly. And when people walked between the fires, they leapt over the flames and couples together so that they could like bless their bond.
That's cute.
I know. I'm not suggesting everybody go out and do this for your weddings. Please be safe. But the smoke and ash were considered protective, and you walked through it intentionally. You were physically passing through something to get to the other side. Side note, Catholics use ash as a protection symbol during Ash Wednesday, and I wonder if it has any connection to things like this. I mean, they took a lot of pagan traditions. I wonder if it was a pagan tradition to use ash as a way to like protect you.
That's a good point. I'd have to do more research on that.
Yeah.
I thought it was
It just came to me when I read that. I was like, oh yeah, strange.
Yeah, it very well could be. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
But there's so much in that for what we talk about on this show as well. The idea that transformation isn't passive. You don't just wait for the season to change. You walk into the fire. Cue Buffy.
Yeah. Cue Buffy again. I have to see if I can get clips so all of a sudden you're just hearing,
I can clip it if we need it.
Oh my God, that would be funny. We apologize ahead of time if you've heard that song over and over throughout this episode.
It's gonna be the whole
oh my God. Beltane walk through the fire. And then the like photo that's the title of the episode.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. There's also the May bush and the maypole. I think both come from this, but anyway, a hawthorn branch decorated with flowers, ribbons, shells, and they hang it outside the home. And hawthorn was considered so powerful that it was only allowed indoors at Beltane, and the Beltane dew. Okay. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Wait, when is the maypole?
I'm almost positive it has to do with this as well. I wonder if it's already in here somewhere. But it had to do with the 2 deities of something of this, and then
Okay, the May bush is a hawthorn shrub specifically, and then maypole is a tall wooden pole, which yeah, on May Day, May 3rd, 1st. So that
Yeah.
would be this. We'll see if it's in here. We can always record more if we need.
Yeah. But it had something to do with the deities though, and that's why there's ribbons, and that's why they dance around because it has to do with the two deities crossing together. Anyway, and the Beltane dew in the morning, people would go out at on what? People would go out at dawn on May 1st and wash their faces with the morning dew because it was believed to carry beauty, vitality, and renewal.
It's like so much connection to nature in
Yeah.
these celebrations, which from a wellness standpoint, I love the embodied quality of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a mental exercise. It's physical. You go outside, you touch earth, you let something cool and living touch your face.
Yeah, the body participates in the transition, not just the mind.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the May Queen and the Green Man,
Mm-hmm.
which we have to talk about because this is where it gets really interesting to me from creative and aesthetic lens. The May Queen is one of the most enduring visual archetypes in European folk tradition. She's crowned with flowers, she's dressed in white or green, she leads the procession. And what she represents isn't just fertility in the biological sense, she's abundance. She's the earth saying, I am ready, I am full, and I am here.
Yeah, and the context of fashion and presentation is, I think, something you think a lot about.
I do.
Yeah, you and all.
Yes, I do. Because there is something in that image that's about intentional adornment as declaration. What you put on your body for Beltane isn't decorative, it's a statement of intention. You're dressing for the person you're becoming, not the one that's been here all winter long. And I think about that in my work a lot, how what we wear, how we present is never neutral. It's always communicating something. And at Beltane, the community made that explicit.
Yeah, how fitting yet again that I'm wearing like my brand new outfit for this episode. Wow.
As you should.
As I should. And you're not dressing to blend in. See, I've got fun, bright colors. It's
You're
got flowy
dressing to
sleeves.
bloom.
I'm dressing to bloom.
Exactly.
Yep. So,
Cool.
something that I kept noticing in myself and around people around me is that the ones who are the most disconnected from what they want are often the highest functioning externally. Like they're hitting every mark that society expects us to hit, and yet inside there's just like static.
And for a lot of queer people, that starts early. When your desires are the thing that made you unsafe, you don't just learn to hide them, you learn to stop generating them. The suppression comes from preemptive thoughts. You stop wanting before you can even get in trouble.
Right? Because instead of not acting on it, it's more that you've completely suppressed it.
Absolutely. It's a completely different thing because it's not just that certain desires were forbidden, it's that the identity underneath the desire was the problem. The training wasn't, don't want this specific thing, it was, don't be the kind of person who wants things like that. And you can't just remove one want, you end up muting the whole signal.
Yeah. And then you kind of wonder why you can't answer the question, what do you actually want? Which is something that I definitely have been struggling with lately, right? Without your mind going blank. Because how are you supposed to know?
Because distinguishing between what you actually want and what you've been told to want takes time.
Yeah.
And that internalization happens slowly over years and years of managing how you're perceived, who you are in different rooms. That sustained performance has a cost. And the cost is usually access to yourself.
So, what do you think getting back, or what do you think getting it back looks like?
I mean, I think it's what we've always been saying on this podcast, right? It's starting small. You start with low stakes preference. What do you actually want to eat right now? What music do you want to listen to when nobody is watching? You rebuild the muscle of wanting before you trust it with bigger things.
Yeah, coming back to preference is a practice. I've been doing that a lot lately. Like in the mornings when I'm in the house, I'm like realizing that I loved having music on all the time. And at some point, I stopped that. I think not through family, but through exes. And so recently, In the mornings, I've just been putting on music, or like when Claire and I eat dinner, I've been putting on music in the background. And even just that little tiny shift of giving myself something that I actually wanted that I suppressed has made a big difference in how I feel. And just having opinions again, right? Like it sounds almost too simple until you actually try it and realize how much noise sits between you and the answer.
Oh, I think that's a really beautiful practice, and it takes time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of mute out the noise of everyone else. And, I think for us as queer folks, as women, you have to take really a lot of time to kind of mute those extra voices around.
Yeah, yeah. Which essentially what we're getting at is that's what Beltane also refuses to do, right? It doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't ask if your wants are justified. The season just turns. The fire goes up and it's just, what are you bringing?
The thing you want is allowed to be the thing you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a plan. It doesn't need justification. It doesn't need you to be certain. It's just what you want.
Yeah. And I think that's why the embodied quality of Beltane really matters, right? The dew, the fire, walking through smoke, the actual participation in the transition. That's what's interesting because so much of the suppression that we're talking about lives in our body.
It does. And a lot of queer people have a complicated relationship with their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
The body was a thing that gave them away, or the thing that was scrutinized or felt wrong. Reclaiming desire as something embodied is not just intellectual, it's real work.
Yeah.
And Beltane does that through ritual. We do it through practice, but the direction is kind of the same.
Yeah. Whoa. What is this? The bloom inventory.
We created a new thing.
I love it. I actually get used this week called the bloom inventory. Simple and not easy. One, sit with an actual paper and from the right to top. What do I actually want? Ooh, I love this. Okay, let's do it. Why not?
Do it. I love the way you said that. That was great. No, I love it. I love the excitement because I read it too and I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah. All right. So here's the part of the podcast where we want to actually give you something you can actually use this week because this is coming out, what? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, like 3 or 4 days before May 1st. So you've got some time. So we're going to give you something that you can actually do to prepare for Beltane. It's called, or we're calling it, the bloom inventory.
It's simple, but not easy. There are different things. Those are different things.
Yes. Okay, so step 1, we want you to get an actual paper, please, not your phone. Let's remove the technological pieces of this. Beltane is all about connecting with nature. So get an actual piece of paper and write at the top, what do I actually want? And then you write for 10 minutes without stopping. No editing. Don't second guess yourself. Don't think, oh, but that's unrealistic. Oh, how would I achieve that? No, we're just writing what comes. It's stream of consciousness, no justification, no plan, just want.
Uncensored.
Yeah. Do you want to do step 2? That way we're kind of more,
Yeah. So step 2, read it back. And for each thing on the list, you ask one question, not, is this realistic? Am I allowed to want this? You ask, where did I learn that this isn't allowed? Because the want is yours. The verdict on the want was handed to you, likely from somebody else.
Yeah. And for a lot of queer people, those verdicts came from very specific places: a religion, a family, a culture with clear ideas about who gets what. Yeah, a clear culture with what? I can't talk today.
Neither can I.
A culture with clear ideas about who gets to want what. Naming where the voice came from is the first move, because once you can see the source, it stops sounding like your own voice and it becomes something that was given to you, which means you can put it down.
The want is yours. The verdict is inherited.
Exactly. So step 3, the thing you do before May 1st, I want you to choose one of those wants that you've never said out loud. Just one. And I want you to put it in a journal. Go ahead and put it on your notes app if you want, a napkin, your calendar, whatever, and just let it exist somewhere outside of your head. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to tell anybody, but have it somewhere that you can see just for you.
I love that. So before we close out, we have 3 questions to sit with this week. So the first one, where in your life are you practicing patience? And is some of that patience actually fear in disguise?
Question 2, what is one desire you've been managing instead of honoring?
And 3, if you declared out loud to yourself that your winter is over, what would be the first thing you let yourself want?
Oh, that's hard.
I'm going to have to do that one myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's it for today's Beltane episode of the Solstice series. If something landed for you in this conversation, please share it, send it to your group chat, drop it in someone's DMs who you think maybe needs to hear it. That's how the show grows. And person to person, story to story, that's how you help us reach other people.
And if you have a question about anything that we've talked about or something you're carrying that you haven't put to words yet, send it our way. We read everything. The link to reach us is in the bio.
Yeah. New episodes drop every Tuesday. We're unpacking the closet.
And we'll see you next week. Keep showing up even when it's messy. We'll see you next time in the closet.